The Kent Lapp Podcast.
There's a verse or two maybe in 1 Corinthians 11 that talks about this idea of a veiling, and they take that practical. So it's a physical cloth or a bonnet or something that you would have on your head, and then because you would have it for praying, and presumably you'd be praying without ceasing, so you'd always have it on your head. And although everyone that I've talked about the idea of the head covering with that would have believed in at that point, and maybe still does, would agree that, so you're not wearing a head veiling right now. And they would agree that, yeah, we know Rachel, she's great. We like Rachel. We believe she's a Christian. Rachel's going to be in heaven. And as far as we know, Rachel's serving God to the best of her knowledge at this point in her life. But Rachel doesn't know, like she hasn't been enlightened to this. Yes. And so if I am, but my wife who grew up in it and was taught it, she knows. She's been enlightened. So it's sort of okay for Rachel not to, but it's not okay for Mariana not to, because she knows better, and so, but when you start to, if that's your reasoning, the Enlightenment reasoning, as opposed to taking the Bible and looking at it in context and studying it, not just, oh, here's a verse and there's a verse, but the grand scope of the Bible, the scheme, the narrative of the Bible, that's where you need to make your argument out of. And if you can't, then you need to just be okay with like, well, I'm going to wear the bonnet, but I don't, if you want to or not, it's okay. I'm not going to argue against it. But when you get into that enlightenment, I think it just gets super dangerous, super quick.
Yes. I mean, I have friends who, they have head coverings as a personal conviction. And when they treat it like a personal conviction, like this is the way that I want to do it in my family and serve the Lord, it's actually a really good thing, because it makes me uncomfortable and lets me realize that I'm not super enlightened. Yep. Because, I don't want her wearing a doily or anything that looks like a doily on her head. Yep. Or a bonnet or what have you. Yep. But when it becomes like a who's the more mature Christian kind of contest, then it's
I agree. All right, sorry.
Garbage.
Let's come back to your upbringing and the story. We're having a hard time getting through this story. I apologize.